Welcome everyone to Strangest Species, episode 46. I'm your host, Mike Davis, here with Ethne Davis.
Hello, hello.
She tried to cut me off again, but I didn't let her this time.
Well, I was going to say the big 4-6.
Is 4-6 the big one?
I don't know.
Sounds like a big one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Super.
Yeah. It's been a good weekend.
It has been. Yeah, it was a really good weekend.
Yeah, life's been good.
Spring has been good.
Spring has been very good. A little terrifying because
Not a lot of moisture.
we haven't had hardly any rain,
I
which is made for a
know.
really nice spring, but I'm afraid we're going to have a really nasty fire season.
Yeah, forest fire season.
We get lots of forest fires around here. Not that like our personal house is in danger, but we'll get smoke for weeks on end, and it's just terrible.
Yeah, it really is terrible.
Right at the beginning of football season, too. Sometimes it postpones the games.
Darn it.
That's no good.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. Beautiful weather. Our kids ran a little race today.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was
It's the Bloomsday.
here in Spokane, they have a very famous race called Bloomsday. Is it a half marathon? I've never ran it, obviously.
It's a weird like 10. Well, maybe that's what no, half is 13.1. I'm trying to think of what 13.1 in kilometers would be, but that's not right either. It's like a weird number.
It's like its own thing, huh?
Yeah. I've looked it up before. We've never run it because it's normally on Sundays and we're usually.
Well, I used to always run a different race on that same weekend. It was when I would run the
Which one?
Beast out in
In Montana. But that was still also a Saturday.
Maybe.
I feel like you would come home
Would I
on the
come home on
Sunday,
Sunday?
yeah, and not miss work.
Huh. I definitely would come home, but I feel like I still
Maybe it was all in the
came
same
home,
day?
Yeah, late.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
Either way.
I was
we
always
never
home
ran
with
it,
little kids.
But they did a junior one, and our kids couldn't run the actual junior one. And so they let us, there's a big group of us that ran it today.
They let us
and it
do
was
a
fun.
makeup. It was great. It's a really good company to work with. Like they're very accommodating. So we
Yeah, it
were
was
very
cool.
grateful.
And our kids had a good time.
Yeah. And it's
Our
a
little
good
guy,
cause.
Man,
Yeah.
dude can run.
Our little guy can go.
He can go.
Yeah, he just goes. We also have one that wasn't feeling very good, so he was a trooper. He did it, but
Yeah.
was
He would
dragging.
normally be very good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he struggled.
yeah,
He was not feeling good.
he
He
has-
fell asleep on the couch, which never happens.
never. Yeah, he has a fever right now, so
He stole my spot in our bed.
gets to sleep with mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you're watching the YouTube video, this is the first time I've never worn a hat ever while recording.
Well, he
So,
got a haircut, you
I
guys.
did get a haircut.
Miracles happen. It's a little feng shui right now, but
I'm not sure what that means.
well, I don't either. It's a little just feeling some volume.
Well, yeah. It's still long. It's just,
It's much
Trimmed.
shorter.
it is much shorter. It was when I went and got it cut, the barber started like getting it wet and combing it out. And like the sides went way past my ears. And he's like, that's a lot longer than I was expecting it to be. Because it kind of like,
Volumizes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's light, floats. Gravity doesn't have a lot of effect on it.
Yeah. It's true.
But anywho,
It was pretty long.
it was pretty long. So, anything else going on in your world? Can you see me any better today?
No, my eye's actually really bad today.
Oh.
I forgot to fill the green yard waste bin. I'm realizing this right now, and it's ripping my heart apart.
That is, I could fill it with chicken
Manure?
manure that I shoveled out
Chicken
today.
manure is so good for the compost for next year.
Just saying, if you want
I
to
know.
fill the bin with something, there's a wheelbarrow full.
Perfect. Well, maybe I'll do that quickly in the morning. I don't know. I'm just like, what was I thinking? But there was too many other things to do today.
We had a last week. So we have chickens in our backyard. They're great. They
we
give
love
us
our backyard
breakfast.
chickens. Mm-hmm.
Ethie and I spoke a few weeks ago about if we wanted to get baby chicks this year.
And we said no.
And I'm pretty sure the conversation was no.
It was 100% no.
And then I got a call at work last week one day where Ethie's like, hey, I just bought 6 chicks because they were on clearance.
Well, and they were older. So like, actually the most nerve wracking part is when they're younger, like the first 3
They're a
weeks.
pain in the butt.
Well, they spill their water. They can drown themselves in their water.
Tasty butt.
They're just, plus once they're bigger, they can fit into the dog crate faster. and not in our laundry room bathroom. So I was like, oh, they're on sale, and they're all blue and green egg layers, which I don't have any. So it was kind of this, oh crap, we did it.
We didn't do anything. I wasn't even informed.
Oh, I called you.
You with a picture of a box full of chickens in your car.
I think I called you before.
You did not call me before.
Oh, I didn't?
No.
I think I tried. You were just busy working.
That could have been.
So I'm excited.
We got new chickens.
Yep.
So today because they are bigger, which is nice. Because normally they live in our bathroom.
For like a month.
Mm-hmm. But they were on clearance because they were getting too big at the store.
They don't want to keep paying to feed them.
Right. So they're trying to get rid of them. So we got them, brought them home.
They've only been in there a week. Yeah. 1 week. That's not bad at all.
No, we literally got them since the last time we recorded.
Yep.
But we moved them out into the chicken coop today, but in the dog crate. So they're in the crate, in the coop. So the big chickens can look at them and squawk at them, but they can't kill them.
Right. They're going to become friends as they grow.
That's right.
It's forced friendship.
But our cats definitely wanted to kill them.
Yep. And they know the cats are predators. It's funny. They're like cautious by the chickens. They are terrified when the cats come by. And the cats are pretty tiny. But the cats are looking at them like, you're yummy.
Yeah.
The chickens more so, excuse me, what are you doing in my coop?
Yes. The cats brought us a baby mole this week.
Yeah, that's
a new
true.
one.
That was
on the bingo card of dead animals that the cats bring us.
We actually think it's a vole.
A vole.
Which I never had really known what that was, but it's kind of like a tinier version of a mole.
Okay.
And yeah, it was strange. Lincoln came running in. He's like, I don't even know what it is. It's something big. It's like a giant mouse, like a really long mouse.
It looked like a naked mole rat.
It did. But when you got close, you could tell that its eye was blind. Like it, that's how they live their lives.
I don't think, They're relatives of the lemming and the hamster.
A vole or a mole?
A vole.
Yeah. So maybe it wasn't a vole.
I mean, that looks like a mouse, a fat mouse.
Yeah. Okay, look up mole.
I know what a mole looks like.
Well,
it looks like that dead thing they brought in.
Yeah, maybe it really was a mole.
But I've never seen a mole around here.
But I mean, they live
just
under
like a mole.
Yeah. Moles live underground, honey.
But still, you see signs of them. Like, they're in your area.
Do you?
Well, I guess I don't.
Well, they got one.
They got one somewhere.
Anyway.
We also have, it's really cool. We got these owls that live behind us, and they're starting to do some construction. I think I talked about this, but it's kind of
forcing them to venture out a little.
Yeah, so we've been hearing them a ton
listen
lately.
To them and see them. They're beautiful.
I was in the hot tub the other night by myself, like a full moon, and these two owls were just going back and forth, hooing. Hoo-hoo. Yeah, it's cool. Hoo-hoo. Felt like Halloween, but not.
I love them.
They're cool. They're big.
Until they kill my chickens.
Well, they haven't ever done that yet.
That's because I think we have a guard dog.
That could be.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have a guard dog. That is true.
I think that's why.
So, as always, Ethne here has no idea what we're about to talk about.
Not a clue.
Not a clue.
I'm going to guess.
Okay. Go give me your best. Your O for whatever.
The NBA playoffs.
No.
A mysterious basketball team.
No.
Okay. Well, that's my only guess I have.
Those are two guesses.
Well, they're basketball related.
Got you. One theme.
Yeah, one theme.
So we're not going to talk about either of those things. Where do I want to go with this? I really like stories of people who reinvent themselves.
I know you do.
I really like them.
Mm-hmm.
They
Ebenezer Scrooge.
I definitely like Ebenezer Scrooge a lot. A Christmas Carol is one of the all-time best books. You should read it. It'd take you like 3 hours. It's super short. I
mean, I think everyone in the world out there knows that story, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you don't. I like the Mickey version the best.
The Mickey version's good. I actually like the new one that, well, it's not new now.
Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm. It's animated, but he does a good job. One's the closest I've seen to the book.
Right. Because the book is a little more macabre.
A lot of ghosts. Yeah. Right. A little more scary than Mickey does. Mm-hmm. But Mickey's great. I mean, Mickey and I are besties. We go way back.
Yes, you do.
So I'm cool with that.
Okay.
So I do like stories of people who reinvent themselves. I love stories, too, of people who... I like listening to people's success stories. And I love when they have that one moment, and it usually is a moment that is not super significant at the time, but they look back and say, if I hadn't done that one thing, then none of this would have happened.
Like
I love those stories.
pinnacle moment or the...
Yeah. But again, oftentimes it's something that's not big.
Right, but it doesn't seem like it in the moment.
For example,
Okay.
I'm not going to say the whole story. I don't want to butcher the whole story. You can look it up. The comedian Adam Carolla.
Oh, I've heard this story from you.
Yeah. He was a construction worker, no education, living in California, in LA. On the radio, heard that some of the radio DJs were going to have a boxing match. He taught boxing. So he's like, I'm going to drive there and I'm going to, tell them I can help them. Just trying to get his foot in the door doing anything. Like he was doing stand-up comedy, but not getting paid or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to the studio. It's not open. And he's like, oh, I never even thought about this. Like they were there doing the morning show, but the studio was still locked. And it was like the Pepsi guy or something shows up. And he's like, hey, will you tell them that I'm out here and I'm a boxing coach? And so he's like, sure. And then lo and behold, like 10 minutes later, out comes, what's his name?
I will not help you with this. And you know that.
Yeah. He's bigwig late night guy now.
Jimmy Fallon.
Not Jimmy Fallon. The other one.
I don't know. I'm impressed I got that name.
Oh, this is going to drive me nuts.
Well,
anyways. And he ends up being his coach. And then from there gets his opportunity and becomes this huge comedian. And
he ends up being whose coach?
The DJ's coach.
Is the DJ the one that the name you're trying to remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was a nobody at the time. He was like a nobody on the show.
How's the DJ a late night guy right now?
Because he
Conan O'Brien.
No. He was this co-host on the Man Show on MTV.
Oh, honey, do you think any of these are these are not going to help me? I'm the worst at this stuff.
This is so stupid.
Okay. Well,
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel. I knew it.
There you go.
I was just keeping the suspense alive.
So Kimmel becomes his co-host on the Man Show, blows up. Now he's like a multimillionaire, comedian, the godfather of podcasts. We all owe something to Adam Carolla.
I for surely do.
You for surely do. But anyways, had he not heard this ad on the radio and decided, I'm going to drive my truck and just go to the studio and just go tell them.
Yeah.
Like he never would have become
who he is.
And I love those kind of stories.
Okay.
So we're going to kind of talk about a story kind of like that today. All righty?
Mm-hmm, I'm ready.
Okay. Can you please give me a quick synopsis of the movie Ocean's 11?
Oh gosh. Ocean's 11 has a lot of fun people in it, but basically they get out of prison, or one of them gets out of prison, and then they reconvene in all their strengths to then do something even bigger. And they choose to do Vegas.
By do, you mean to rob.
Right. They choose to break into the vaults in the Bellagio. In the Bellagio. And
they're going to steal a bunch of money from...
Yeah, they're going to steal from right underneath their noses and kind of stick it to the man.
Yeah.
So basically, it's really good. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it.
Brad Pitt, George Clooney.
A lot of...
Anthony's phone going off. As always.
This never happened before.
Never happened during the podcast, but it happens 47 times a day.
I know, but that's pretty impressive that it's never happened before.
It's true.
Okay. It's off.
What if you could steal from a casino, but legally? What if you could beat the casino at their own game?
I would say more people would do it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about a guy who tried to beat the casinos.
Okay.
And we'll see how he did.
I have a feeling he's not going to do very good.
So his name was Gonzalo Pelayo.
It's a fun name.
Yes, he's from Spain. And Gonzalo lived a pretty normal life.
Okay.
He was a sound engineer.
Okay.
You know, like when people recorded things, he would slide the things up and down, and I don't really know what they're doing, but make it sound better.
Yep.
He was married. He had 5 sons, and he was just had a normal life.
That's a lot of boys.
Yeah. It wasn't until he was in his 50s, and this is in the early 1990s, that he decided to do something else.
Like start robbing casinos?
Not robbing casinos.
I mean, start swindling? What's the word when it's legal?
Start studying casinos.
Studying casinos.
Yes.
Perfect.
Now, we don't know why he decided he was going to start doing this. Maybe it had been a lifelong thing he was into.
He's probably like empty nester. And he looks around. He's like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm just going to pick up like a side job.
Or maybe it wasn't even a side job. He's like, I'm just going to go hang out at the casino.
Or it's like midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Like, this is something I wanted to do my whole life.
Could be.
And now I finally get to do it.
I can't wait till I have a midlife crisis.
No.
Get to buy like a cool car or something.
No. These are just excuses for doing stupid stuff.
Well,
like, it's like a fancy term.
I have a fancy term to do something stupid then.
Okay.
Some kind of
Do I get a midlife crisis too?
Your whole life's a crisis.
Oh, thank you.
Just kidding. Sure, have a midlife crisis. Problem with you is I know you won't, so you'll have a crisis about your midlife crisis and you'll buy nothing, so it's not really a problem.
Well, like maybe having emergency eye surgery is my midlife crisis.
Oh, sure. Then yes, you have permission.
Okay.
Since you've already done it.
And a midlife.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's not so mid.
Yeah.
You're a little early for mid.
Early midlife.
Yeah. So we don't know why, but he started to frequent a local casino in Madrid.
Okay, he's in Spain.
Yeah,
that was my
Madrid.
question. He's in Madrid.
Now, he didn't gamble. He didn't play anything, actually. He would just go, he would order a drink, and he would just sit and watch. And his favorite game to watch was roulette. And you know which one roulette is?
Weird. Yeah, it's like you roll the dice on this thing and it spins.
Yes,
like
it's got a big spinny wheel.
Yeah.
There's no dice.
Or like
so there's a ball.
A ball.
So you put your chips on. You can so the roulette wheel has 0 to 37.
I wouldn't know those details.
Unless you're in the United States, and there's double zeros, which gives the casino better odds because there's one more slot. There's 00 and 0, and then 1 through 37.
Dang, United States.
And then they're black or red. So you can bet on, is it going to be black or red? Is it what number is it going to be? Is it going to be the number and the color? So there's lots of things you can bet. The dealer throws the ball in. Wherever it lands. You win, you lose.
Mm.
So that was what he liked to watch.
Is the ball like a Nerf gun ball? Is the ball like bouncy? No, I don't know. I can't think of what the ball looks like.
Kind of like a marble.
Oh,
solid.
It's like solid. Okay.
Sometimes I don't know what they're made out of. In my brain, it could be white or silver, but I could totally be making this up.
Huh. Okay. Cool. I was just curious.
I'm not a huge gambler, as you know.
I do know. Yeah. Me either.
Right. So.
Although I do like me some good Ramoli.
You do like Ramoli. But normally you play with candy.
But it's still gambling.
It's true, but not the stakes are a little less when you're betting on gummy bears instead of,
It has to be only wrapped candy.
$25 a hand poker or something.
This is true, obviously, yes.
So, essentially, in roulette, you have an equal chance of landing in any slot. So your odds are 1 in 38 that you're going to get it right. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I bet you it's not really that equal.
So
there's probably some Jimmy rigs.
Well, yes and no, right?
Okay.
Assuming that the casino's playing fair, they have a major advantage over you.
Okay.
Even if it's a perfectly good 1 in 38.
Why? Or how?
Because you have to guess 1 out of 38.
Oh, that's the advantage. It's just simply you're guessing.
Right.
Oh, okay.
If 38 people play, in theory, only one's going to win mathematically.
Right.
And the casino's going to win 37 times.
Right.
So even if you're the one who wins, cool, we don't care because we're taking the money from the other 37 people.
Right.
So they're always ahead. Right?
I see what you're saying.
So Gonzalo watched thousands of roulette spins.
Did his wife wonder where he was?
I don't know. Maybe they were in those couples that don't really hang out much.
Well, I'm kind of like trying to figure out, even then she'd be like, well, he's at the casinos, but like we're not running out of money. So
Yeah.
like, this is weird.
He just
I would
likes to
think
go
this is
hang out.
the weirdest thing. If my husband started doing this, I'd be like, I'm confused. Are you secretly meeting certain people here? Or like,
We have a really nice casino here, but it's too far away to go just to hang out.
yeah, but they stink like smoke
do
because they
smell like
still let
smoke,
you
man.
smoke in those places. I mean, even during COVID, everything's closed, but not the casino.
Not the casino.
Don't worry, guys. You can still
Casino.
gamble and smoke
And smoke.
and be close together and
Yes.
touch all the same things.
Correct.
Yeah, COVID doesn't happen in casinos.
Not in casinos or Northern Idaho.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why we go to the casino.
That's why we did go. Okay. So he went and he watched. He watched thousands and thousands
Thousands
of
of
hours
spins.
and time.
Yep.
And
But he found
okay.
that the odds weren't right. That he found that there were some numbers where the ball landed more and some numbers where the ball landed less. It wasn't all equal. And mathematically, that shouldn't have been the case.
That's what I was saying is I feel like there's Jimmy rigging.
So, one thing I failed to mention about Gonzalo, he was not a mathematician, but he loved math.
Like
He was a math-brained person.
Okay.
He also didn't believe in coincidences. He thought everything in life had a pattern.
Okay.
And you just had to figure out the pattern.
What the pattern was.
Right.
Okay.
So after watching these thousands of spins, he was going in with the mindset, there's a pattern to how the ball lands. I've just got to figure out what that pattern is.
Right.
It's not random.
So he invested in trying to figure that pattern out?
He did.
He figured it out?
No, he invested a lot of time trying to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
We'll see what he does. So he starts going to various casinos and he's taking notes. And when I say taking notes, he's calculating like, okay, red 14, black 7. I don't know if 14 and 7 are actually those colors, but you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And he's taking thousands and thousands of data points and just sitting there watching.
Do you think they let you do that nowadays?
That's a good question. I had that same thought. And they definitely noticed him.
Because I feel like
you couldn't card count.
I feel as though you could kind of figure out maybe some patterns or things or statistics or something, and they wouldn't want you or allow you to do that.
Right.
And so obviously maybe back then, because this is the early 1900s, you said?
Early 1990s.
Oh, 1990s. Oh. So it's still actually pretty recent.
Yeah,
I'm
like
thinking
35 years ago.
Yeah. I'm thinking
Gonzalo is still alive.
right. I'm just thinking, how did they allow him to do this?
Yeah, and maybe he was super
Discreet.
discreet about it. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
But
They noticed him, you said.
Well, they did. So he's got a pretty big data pool of entries, and he's trying to, and this is where I said he's a mathematician, he's trying to come up with an algorithm to calculate it. Like he's making up his own, I mean, maybe not as making up his own statistics. I'm a moron with statistics.
I see what you're saying.
But he's trying to figure out a way
Right.
to see if there's a pattern. But he decides he doesn't have enough data points still.
Right.
He's got thousands, but he's like, I still need more.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point in his life, all 5 of his sons are grown. They're men. So he hires his 5 sons to go out and do the same thing as him, to calculate or to take down data point entries
This
on roulette
guy
wheels.
really needs more stuff to do in his life.
Well, we'll see if it pays off for him or not.
Okay.
Do you think it's going to pay off for him?
I mean, you probably wouldn't be talking about him if it didn't.
Well, I mean, maybe he goes to jail.
Maybe so.
Maybe the FBI picks him up and he becomes a mastermind for them. Who knows where this story is going?
That's true.
So the 5 would go into the casinos together, and each one of them would take a different roulette wheel, and they would record numbers.
Yep. So I wonder how much he paid them.
Yeah, I don't know. My dad would have to pay me a lot to go sit around and
That's what I was thinking. Like,
like,
do
this
these
is-
kids not have lives and their own families?
And so But like you said, he also needed to do this because the casino security was definitely onto him, thinking something was up.
Right.
And they started to watch him really closely. Even though he wasn't playing.
This is so interesting. Okay.
But they definitely saw him and noticed him and
Right.
knew something was going on. So after copious amounts of data collection, he still couldn't find a mathematical reason why the tables acted the way they did. He couldn't figure it out. I mean, he could figure out that they were wrong, they were inconsistent, but he couldn't figure out the consistency of their inconsistency.
Whoa, deep.
That's right, everybody.
The consistency of their inconsistency. Oof, it's deep.
So, one night, though, he goes to the casino. He's doing his thing with his little Bic pen and his
Data
notepad.
points. How do you know it's Bic out there?
'Cause I like Bic pens.
Yeah, but in Spain, they probably have like some...
Oh, Bic's a Spanish word.
Oh, really?
Beak.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I don't know if that's not true, actually. So, and this is where it really goes to show how much of a genius Gonzalo was. So he's sitting there watching the roulette wheel. Now, most roulette wheels have a big metal spindle in the middle. Big, gaudy, fancy thing.
Yeah, they do.
That is oftentimes what they spin, but it looks all,
Fancy.
So he's looking at this and he notices something on the spindle itself.
Ooh.
He notices there's a light above the spindle, but he also notices that the reflection off of the spindle is angled. It's not reflecting off evenly. So he realizes that spindle has an angle to it. Even though to the naked eye it looks straight, it's relatively straight, it's angled ever so slightly, or the light wouldn't reflect that way.
Wow, this guy's smart.
Yeah. And so using the shape of the glare, he calculates roughly the angle of which it's off.
Wow.
Now, which math equations you use to do that, I don't know. I'm still stuck on like foil.
You ask him.
Yeah.
Maybe he made up some equation. I don't even know.
I don't know either. But isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
He uses the shape of the glare to calculate the angle of the board. And so he also...
You're saying the whole table is tilted?
Right.
Or...
So that wheel, he's saying, because the spindle's tilted, the wheel's got to be tilted as well.
Ever so slightly.
Ever so slightly.
I see what you're saying. And was this the same for every roulette table?
Well, and see, that's where I don't know all the details.
Okay.
If he designs a equation that is good for any roulette table, if he spends, is it like, okay, once I get 1,000 data points, I can plug it into this equation and it's going to help me out no matter what table, or it has to be, okay, this is only good for this table. And then I need to
make a new equation for each table depending on their...
Or change variables, based on... Does he have to recalculate this at every table?
Right.
I don't know.
Interesting.
He didn't tell me these things.
Well, that's shocking.
Nor would my brain be able to understand them. So he also calculated the revolutions of the board with each spin.
Like how many times it went full circle?
Now, it didn't matter so much how many times it went. What mattered was if there was a significant difference between clockwise and counterclockwise spins.
Oh, they can spin both ways?
I guess so. I didn't know this.
Okay.
Because if there was a significant difference over time, then the board was also defective in his calculation.
Very peculiar.
Very. And so if the roulette table he found was off by even 1 millimeter on an uneven floor, then there would be certain numbers that were landed on more frequently and other ones that would be landed on less frequently.
That makes sense.
And so he would, with the help of his family and his boys, he collected all this information on all these different roulette wheels, and he created his own computer program to put all this number into.
This guy is too much.
This is 91.
This guy is too much.
So what were computers like in 91? I mean, I think we got our first one in like 96 with the dial-up AOL.
Yeah.
You had to get online.
Yeah. It reminds me Oh, that movie is so funny. The proposal. They're in like Alaska, and her phone gets taken by an eagle, and she needs to send an email, and she has to go to like this little internet cafe and like put in a quarter, and then it makes that sound for her, and she's all like, "What is happening?" Because she's used to living in like New York or something. Anyway,
not Sitka, Alaska.
Yeah, it's the best. I love that movie.
I do love that movie. So he designs his own computer programs to run these numbers.
This guy is too much. What was his job again?
A sound engineer. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I feel like he missed his calling.
well, he might have found it.
Well, he missed it for the first 50 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
how does one just know how to make computer software?
I don't know.
Like, I mean, that's like so beyond.
You read a book. You Google it.
Yeah, YouTube. You YouTube it.
YouTube in 91.
Yeah.
Before YouTube was a thing.
Oh gosh. Was Google a thing at least though?
No. Not at all.
So that's what I'm saying is, how did this guy know how to do this?
I don't know. I mean, he must have worked with computers, sound engineering.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like, yeah.
Maybe.
To be able to use a computer and to be able to write computer language are very different things. But anyway.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
So he makes these programs, crunches numbers. So him and his 5 sons collect data on different tables for a year and a half before they do anything with this information.
I feel like they could get in trouble for some reason. I don't know.
They're just collecting, putting it in. So after all this, he calculates how many balls he would need to throw per wheel, at which wheels, and what numbers to bet on, and how much money to wager. All of those factors are put into his equations.
That's nuts.
Or his game plan. And he finally comes up with a scenario that he feels offers him a 15% advantage over the casino.
So when you say 15% over the casino, that doesn't sound very good. But I guess that's kind of a weird way of statisticizing yourself.
Yeah. So that number's huge.
Right.
So on a normal wheel,
okay,
you spin it 38 times. In theory, you're going to win once.
Okay, I got that.
With his calculations, he finds if I spin it 100 times, I'm going to win 15. But I know what numbers to put the money on and how much.
Right.
And okay. I don't know what his actual approach was, or what the calculations were. But he felt confident enough to go in and actually put some money down and play.
And he got permission.
Well, I don't know if he went to the same casino or different casinos. Again, I don't know how it all works.
Okay.
So 1991, he
put on a disguise.
Maybe. He put on a fake mustache.
Yeah. Kind of like the guys in Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So he goes in with a fake mustache.
Perfect.
And he sits down and he puts his theoretical plan to work. And after a night of playing, he leaves ahead. He's won money. He's won only about $650.
That's a lot.
I mean,
I thought you were going to say like $6.
No, so he's ahead $650.
How much did he put in?
I don't know.
Oh, that's a grand total ahead.
Yeah.
So that's
if he played 1,000, he won $1,650.
So no matter what he put in, he made $650. That's decent.
Yeah, it's not a bad night.
Yeah, that's a good night.
So it's not a lot of money, but more importantly, he had evidence that his calculations worked.
So because of that one game?
Because
or because
that one
he came
night.
home that one night?
He's like, okay, I put this theoretical thing to work, and it works.
Right.
So he goes back the next night, and he wins a few $1,000s.
Dang.
Yeah. So then the next 2 nights, he wins several more $1,000.
Dang, this is... So I bet the casino did not like him.
It's starting to pay dividends.
So the casinos obviously would shut him down quickly.
So at this time, when Gonzalo would come in, he would be watched very closely by the casino
So the weird
staff.
part is, does he have this all written down of what he's supposed to bet and when?
No, I think it's all up in his head.
What? This guy's crazy.
Like, I think
He knows. Like,
I don't think it's so much when, it's what numbers, how much, you
right.
know, how many times I need to bet on that number so much before it's going to come up.
So it's not like he brought in his laptop. He's like, okay.
Right.
And then just, I don't even know if laptops were a thing then either.
Definitely not. But, and so, yeah, now when he comes in, there's casino staff waiting for him, there's security waiting for him, and an outside gambling specialist waiting for him, all trying to figure out how he's cheating. Of course, he's not cheating.
No, he's not cheating. An outside.
Like a third party they've hired.
Oh, wow. They've hired
to come
somebody.
in
Oh, dang.
and watch him. But he's not doing anything wrong.
No.
I mean, he's just going and playing.
The guy's using his brain.
Yeah.
I mean, he should get paid for using his nog.
And even with all that, they couldn't figure out what he was doing.
But I mean, like when he was questioned, did he tell them?
I don't know if he was questioned. Or they just have all
Oh.
these people standing over him watching nonstop.
And they
watching
can't
the
figure out.
security, you know, cameras.
And he's
watching
just like any old
and
person.
Just, I'll bet, you know, 120 on
Oh, I bet this made them
13,
so
whatever,
angry.
you know. And so even though they couldn't find anything wrong with him, they banned him from coming into the casino.
Of course they did.
Yeah. And at this point,
all about the money.
well, at this point, Gonzalo had won several $100,000.
Dang.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah. And so he,
But how can they ban him? Like I feel like that's
Well,
against the rules.
it is against the rules. And he ends up actually,
Like, does he win?
well, he actually ends up suing him.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he eventually does win the lawsuit, but he's not really that bummed at first that they're kicking him out. He's like, well, I'm ready to go bigger. I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm going to go to Monte Carlo. I'm going to go to Atlantic City. Like,
Does he do that?
Yeah. So he takes his show on the road.
Does he take his 5 cents?
I don't know.
Okay.
And so
Does he at least take his wife?
she's not in the story at all. I don't know what she's doing. She's probably watching novelas back at home. Like, just send me money. I don't care what.
I don't care what you're doing. You're not bugging me. You don't want to
Yeah.
go shopping with me.
So, so he goes to Vegas. Now, like I said, he did sue, and eventually down the road, he does win this lawsuit.
So, like,
against
you
the
know how if
casino.
you're, you know, kind of like a criminal, you have like a no-fly.
Yeah.
You're on the no-fly list. Is there like a criminal, like, you know, casino list where it's like this is a no-enter guy?
So
Like, could he go to Vegas and not be known?
nowadays, that would probably be harder.
Right.
Back then,
Probably
without
easier.
the internet, yeah,
Probably easier.
he could kind of. And the tricky thing was, he wasn't a high roller. He didn't come in playing tons of money and dressed to the nines and being a big shot. He just played like an average guy.
Yeah.
He looked an average guy.
Right.
He put average money out. Like, he wasn't trying to. It was like a collection of small wins, not
Right.
these big $1 million bets.
But they add up quick.
for
I
sure.
mean, dang.
And so he goes to Vegas, and like I said, several other spots around the world, and he wins about $1.5 million.
Are you kidding me?
No.
What?
Yeah.
Is this tax-free money?
I assume not. I assume you got to pay taxes on it.
I just don't even know.
But the tricky thing is, that's only the number officially disclosed by the casinos.
He probably won more.
So it's very likely that he and his family really won in the like tens of millions of dollars.
Like in the lawsuit? Or
No. Because
because his boys were doing it too?
So I guess that answers your question.
Okay.
For a couple reasons. One, the casinos don't want to make it public that this guy's totally, hounding him. So it's not good on their image to say, oh yeah, he's won $10 million from us in the last year.
Right.
So they probably disclose less than what it really is. And lots of times he was probably playing in casinos and they didn't even know he was there. Again, because the surveillance was so different back then. There's no facial recognition. There's no...
Right.
And he would just go in as a normal Joe with a hat on or whatever and play. You know, if you went to Vegas, you could play like in the Riviera one night and the Tropicana the next night. And then, you know, like you could spend,
no one really seems to care about just like an average person,
doing
right?
a different casino every night and never repeat yourself.
Right. It's not like it's a big name.
And let's say you win, you know, $20,000. And then the next night you win, you know, 8,000. And the next you win 12,000.
Even then, though, do people actually win $20,000 by chance? Like, is that actually a thing?
By chance? Sure. They have to dangle that carrot just out there enough so that somebody, so sure, let's say they get 100 of us to go gamble and we all spend $100. But one of us wins $500. Well, they can publicize that. And then the rest of us are like, see, they did it. But we're all down and they're way up still in the end.
But you think still 20,000 though? That seems like they would never let that happen because it's all
We're
Jimmy
talking
rigged.
billions of dollars here, like the industry.
No, I'm talking about someone winning.
Right.
One person actually winning.
$20,000 is nothing whatsoever. People put bets of double that on like a random basketball game in Vegas.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Why?
I was listening to a college basketball podcast, and there was one of the guys was talking about he was at the Final Four,
Yeah.
and a guy sitting on the front row.
Yeah.
'Cause he's a media guy, so was you know,
Sure.
came up to him and was like, you know, who do you think's gonna win this game? You know, I don't remember the teams were, you know, and he's like, oh, so he's like, huh, all right. He's like, well, I got $240,000 on this game, so I hope you're right, or whatever, you know.
Are you sure about that number?
Yeah,
You're not making up that number?
I'm not making that number up. Now maybe he's making that number.
$240,000?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because if you win, then you make a lot more than that.
I'm dumbfounded. I don't even understand. Like if you
Ethne has a hard time like
if you
buying a large combo meal because she doesn't want to spend the extra. Like.
No. Don't. I mean, I feel like you spend way too much money on fast food. That is a definite truth.
Not me.
No, just like the general.
Proverbial you.
Right.
I spend the.
If you
appropriate
have
amount, which is mine.
$240,000 to bet, I'm pretty sure you don't need to gamble to try to get.
No, it's like the rush.
Yeah. But then when you lose it, is it still a rush?
Probably a negative rush. Anti-rush.
Okay. All right. So this guy ends up winning millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars.
And wins the lawsuit in Madrid.
And wins the lawsuit in Madrid.
And I don't understand gambling.
And you don't understand. That's where we're at right now. That's true.
I just summed up everything.
That's a good analysis of
I mean, I understand like, kind of dinking around, I guess is the best word. But I can't even imagine $240,000 bet on a basketball game.
That you really like know nothing about, right? You're just like,
I can't even.
oh yeah, I hope Duke wins. I haven't watched the game all year, but I hope they win because I put a bunch of money on them.
There cannot be people like that out there.
There's a lot of people like that out there.
No.
That's why, well, you don't listen to sports radio. Every other commercial on sports radio is about gambling hotlines.
I mean, I feel like Yep. Okay. I already said my spiel.
You have an aunt that's super addicted to gambling.
I do. I wonder if she's still alive. She's my great aunt.
Great aunt.
Uh-huh. Bunny.
Yeah.
Yep, my great aunt Bunny.
Not a stripper.
But it sounds like she could be. And
Definitely
who knows?
sounds like
Knowing her, she probably was when she was much
Probably where it
younger.
came from.
She basically goes skiing by day and gambling by night every day.
She did something cool for us when we got married.
Yeah.
She
like threw money all around the whole reception.
yeah.
Like,
It was bizarre but cool.
yeah.
So this is mid-90s. So the casinos are starting to fight back now. So they hire private security teams.
So are these the casinos in Vegas?
Right.
Okay, so he didn't go and do this all over. Like, it's not like every casino's after him. He just the
No.
Vegas ones, or even like other.
But he did go around. He went to Australia. He was in Europe.
Is Reno even considered big? Like
I don't think Reno's big. Atlantic City is the other big one in the U.S. New Jersey.
Atlantic City, where's that?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
But anyways, he goes around.
Okay.
And so he now has, the casinos have hired private security teams to follow him and track him and his family all the time. to try to figure out what in the world they're doing.
That's like
And then
inappropriate.
Yeah. And then the casinos sue him.
For what?
For fraud.
But I mean, like,
And they try to get him thrown in jail. Because they're sure somehow he's
is that
frauding the
considered
system.
fraud?
Well, they just don't believe there's any way that he could possibly be doing this.
But I mean,
without
is this
cheating.
considered fraud? What he is doing?
The definition of fraud is.
I feel like this is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So that lawsuit went on for almost 10 years.
The fraud one from the casinos to
against
him. Poor guy.
And it wasn't decided until 2004.
Did he just say, like, here's my computer program? Or did he not want to tell them? This is what I want to know is, did he not want to tell them?
Told them something about, how he did it, whether he said the specifics of what exactly he was doing. Because in the end, he won the lawsuit. And essentially the judge told the casinos, well, you better take better care of your equipment then. Like if some random guy can figure out.
Like the slope of the table.
So nowadays, you couldn't do any of this.
Why not?
Because the roulette machines were all made by hand. Now the machinery is so much better. They're so much crisper, more precise. They have their own computer programs that control them, that they would know if anything's not perfect with them. It's a totally different world now.
Well, probably knowing his software is what changed the roulette tables to have to be different.
So,
like, they probably ended up hiring him. Like, well,
it's funny you say that. So, that famous quote, like, you keep your friends close, but who do you keep closer?
Your enemies.
Your enemies.
Yeah.
So, after all of this, and it's kind of funny, like, just to rub it in their faces.
Oh, yeah.
Gonzalo and his sons opened a gambling analysis company.
That's a thing?
They made a thing. And they are hired to this day. They are major consultants to all of the big casinos worldwide.
Wait, to the casinos?
Mm-hmm. So now the casinos hire him to come in and essentially do security work. Like,
interesting.
Yeah.
This is so interesting. So he still is working?
Yep.
Wow.
There's been some books and some movies made on it where he's got paid a few more $1 million and
like a movie about his story, his life story. I want to know.
I'm not sure if it's a Spanish movie in Spain or if it's I'd never heard of it, but I don't know if that's why or not.
Interesting.
It wasn't like a Ocean's 11 style, major blockbuster. But yeah, so he's still alive, still doing his thing. Not
crazy.
That thing, because now he's making a lot more money doing other things,
Why did the case go on for 10 years? I feel like that's excessive.
I don't know. Obviously, the casinos have all the money in the world to draw it out.
And that's a benefit for them?
Unfortunately, in our criminal, well, not even our criminal system, but in our civil system, yeah, if you have more money, you're going to win most of the time.
Oh, of course.
Just because you can afford to keep.
Right. But they didn't win.
Yeah,
which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, go
Gonzalo.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Gonzalo.
That's his first name.
Right.
Pelayo. Yeah.
Wasn't there like a Sesame Street character? He was like blue and he had a funny nose. That was kind of the same name. Or maybe it was just Gonzo.
Well, the Gonzo is blue with a long nose.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of, but it's not as close to his
name.
You
were going to say when you're doing nose, payaso, because clown in Spanish is payaso, which is kind of close to palazo.
No, I wasn't going there at all.
You were going there. Okay.
I was going with Gonzalo. For some reason, I thought that was almost like the same name as this.
It's
Gonzo. Yeah.
Man, I loved Muppet Babies when I was a little kid.
Yeah. Never loved them as much as some people, but I definitely enjoyed them.
Man.
Like Animal was...
All of them.
Yeah.
Jam back in the day.
So funny. Well, it's a good story. I like this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I still can't understand how one teaches themselves to write a computer program. I just can't. Unless in his training to be a sound engineer, that is a component of his, profession.
It makes me want to do something bigger and better with my life.
I feel like you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't think, I think you're going big.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm always reaching for the stars, babe.
Well,
They keep getting farther away.
oh, wow. As you start crying on air.
Yeah. No, life's good.
Life
but
is
these are those kind of things. Like, I just love those stories. They just inspire me.
Well, it kind of is like this guy
This guy's
stuck it to the system.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily reinventing himself, not like a true change of like.
But it was just cool. He was 50 years
character.
old.
Yeah. It's
And
a
then
whole
decided-
different life.
It's kind of like we did an episode a few months ago, the one about the rich guy who thought he was going to die and buried the treasure.
Yeah.
And he became rich and successful in all this art dealing, like way later in life.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like, oh, now I'm going to be an art dealer.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm crazy successful at this. Like, I just like the stories of, you know, you don't have to be the version of you forever if you don't want to be the version of you.
Oh, that's true.
You know?
You can
You
go
could be-
on a different path.
Like, at least in my brain, the way it works, it's like, okay, this is the path I'm on. Now it's too late to change paths. You know, like, no, change your path.
Just start writing computer programs when you're 50.
I think Christoph Waltz, the bad guy in Inglourious Bastards.
I know who you're talking about. You love him.
Love him. That's one of the best roles ever performed on the big screen,
In his opinion.
in my opinion.
And he is Jekyll and Hyde or whatever. What's those?
I don't know where you're going with
Not
that.
Jekyll and Hyde. The people that rank the movies and stuff.
Like a film critic?
But like, it's like they give him 2 thumbs up. What's?
Oh, what are their names?
I don't know.
Siskel and Ebert?
I don't know. That's where I was going with those Jekyll and Hyde. Like those 2 guys actually know what they're talking
Only one
about.
of them's alive now.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
I was just saying you are as skilled and that is your profession is voting the best actors.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm a hardcore movie critique who watches not many movies. But when I watch them, I critique them.
But you do love him in that role.
Oh, he's so good. But he didn't start acting till later in life.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what he did first.
Or like the funny dude. Well, the funny dude. I was thinking the funny dude from The Hangover. There's a bunch of funny guys in The Hangover. But
He started acting later in life too?
the little Asian guy. What's his name?
I have no idea.
The one that pops out of the trunk.
I know who you're talking about, but I don't know.
He's a physician in real life. He went to med school. He's a real physician.
And then he was like, forget this. Let's
started acting. I don't know how he got into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
In comedy.
Gives me hope. What am I going to be?
You can still grow up, Ethne.
Yeah. What am I going to be?
I mean, I try to do lots of things. It's fun. I write. I do this.
Yeah.
I do real work.
Yeah.
But I haven't broke through yet, man. Whatever that means.
This guy wasn't trying to break through anything,
Okay,
I think.
I would not break through if I could make millions of dollars not breaking through on whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he was trying to break through. I think he just was bored out of his ever-living mind.
I don't know what his motivation
It
was.
just
but
evolved.
Good for him. It makes all of us want to go and beat the system too.
Yep. And reinvent ourselves.
Reinvent ourselves. And then become super wealthy in the process.
Sure.
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
So.
Is that our plan now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what I would like you to do.
We're going to be like Gonzalo.
I would like you to figure out some way to get filthy rich.
Okay.
And I'll be the wife. I won't
I
even be
need
in the
to
story.
invent something,
Whatever you want to do.
create something. Okay.
Keep working on that.
All right. Sell my chicken eggs.
Yeah. I mean, you can do that.
Can I make a lot of money on
No, they're
Darn it.
not worth that much.
Oh, shoot. Well, I'll keep working on it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to do more than that.
Well, give me some time. While I'm, bringing in a big income with my chicken eggs, I'll be thinking of what else I can do.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to hold you to that. All right, everybody. We'll have a wonderful week. We will be back next week with another episode. Again, if you...
Species.
Yes, that's the one. Again, if you want to check us out on YouTube, please do. Stranger Species Podcast. I think that's all. You got anything else, I think?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Have a wonderful week, everybody, and we
Have a
will
good
talk
night.
to you next time. Bye.
Bye.